Hardly, I'm not sure if we hear in the audio. Yes.
Oh, wow. I'm going to start this over again. Wow.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. And welcome to another episode of Talk the Ting. And joining us is Mr. Sheldon Casimir. And before we continue, we would like to invite you guys to check out our merch store. We will have the links in the live chats on YouTube and Facebook. And y'all could check it out to get some of our merch. We have some new designs up, and we are in the process of putting some of our old school designs back up. So, Rajiv, I don't know if there's anything you want to say before we get on with tonight's episode.
Like and share, and check out the merch store because they're getting us in problem with our producers. They saying we're not plugging the merch, so we plug in the merch.
Yes.
Be sure near.
All right.
Sheldon.
Yes, sir. Greetings.
Thanks for joining us. What's the weather like on your end?
Oh boy, we have some nice bright sunny skies. Oh, today you can see mostly every mountain top range in the Roseau Valley area, Humbug, Jordel.
But I grudge it, because
Yeah.
today, really, that was in our skin today.
Yeah, and also it's cold in all the backside by us.
You see what we're wearing already?
Yeah.
Yeah, we jealous. But Sheldon,
Nearly come there with no shit, but
well,
I mean, shoot at my home. I find that to be an injustice already.
Well, Sheldon, again, thanks for joining us. You were one of the persons who came highly recommended as someone that we should check out to be a guest on our show, and we are thankful that you agreed to come on and share your story of your life, what you do, and in case there's anyone who is aspiring to be in the position that you currently are in your field of employment and work. And so we ask that to every single one of our guests on our show. Who is, and then we plug in your name. So who is Sheldon Casimir?
You want me to answer that?
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I come out of Harlem, born and raised. Harlem, if for those who don't know, is also called the Mecca, Newtown, Charlottesville. I was born 1978, many moons ago. Yeah. Just the other day, I realized that when they were having youth discussions, nobody don't invite. I don't get no more emails for that anymore. So,
Class that category.
Yeah, I have transitioned from.
You're not youth anymore?
From a youthful, but not categorized to be a youth anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, born and raised in Newtown, grew up in Newtown. I was fortunate to move a lot, or move to many different houses. Like the other day, I saw something on Facebook talking about the amount of houses that you have lived in for your life, and the person maybe had about 5 or 6. Yeah, I passed that long time. So I end up my early years spent in Newtown I went to the Newtown Primary School. We used to call it the Kako School because of our uniform. Our uniform was looking just like Kako tea. Yeah. And it was quite exciting times. I mean, I started primary school like in 1983, which was kind of like the same year that Newtown Primary and SMP started at that same year. And I was part of the crop that ended up going Newtown Primary. And then a lot of my other friends from the community, went to SMP. So there was a squad from Newtown Primary and another big squad in SMP, and some want to end up at boys' school. But yeah, those years at Newton Primary was very nice. I didn't spend too many years there. I think I went grade 1 one day, then grade 2, grade 4, grade 5, grade 2, grade 4, grade 5, grade 7. So that was all, like, just playing hop and skip. That is all I kind of transitioned through primary school. After primary school, I went to St. Mary's Academy, good old SMA.
Big up, big up.
Yeah, I know there might be a lot of SMA alumni out there looking. Yeah, and my years in SMA was really good years. Never really liked school after, like, I really liked school in primary school days, but then when I reached to high school, like, school was just a formality. You understand? Actually, school work, I should say. But the experience of school, interacting with friends, getting into trouble. Started off with Brother Wickham, and then Brother Jermaine came in when we entered second form. So I had a year of Brother Wickham, and then Brother Jermaine for the rest of that tenure at SMA. And SMA was wonderful years. Played a lot of football during those times, up to under 16. And by the time under 19 I come around, I kind of lose interest in football. I think girls take over. So, yeah.
What was your line of subjects like doing SMA? Like, what kind of
subjects did I do?
Yeah.
Well, always wanted to be a businessman, so I did the business subjects. I also did industrial arts because
AKA woods.
Yeah, the woods, yeah. I kind of grew up in a family that very hands-on. I come from 3-4 generations of mechanics, my father, my grandfather, uncles, my brother right now. So tools and those things was always a part of our life. So like I end up gravitating towards industrial arts because even my grandfather had a lot of woodworking tools. So like, yeah, I used to come in class and stunt on sellers. I know what a fret saw is. I know, but I just know things that nobody don't know. I know, yeah. But yeah, it was like that for my secondary school years. A lot of interaction, notable teachers of note.
Dr. Girl.
Well, Dr. Girl, all-time favorite teacher. I think this man had a major influence on my life and the kind of a path that I take in now, especially when it comes for standing up for what you believe in. Other teachers, people like Mr. Elwin, you had Mr. Bertrand in the early years, Dale Dangleben, and some of the ladies like Miss,
Dale Dangleben.
Yeah, Dr. Dale Dangleben.
Okay.
In the early years, Miss Jolly, Miss Paul still there, although I never take up French. Miss Paul still there, Senior Wang, those people there was like, yeah, cool teachers at the time. Mr. Daly, up to the day, I still interact with a man like Mr. Daly because I always have a piece of wood for me to go and, clean or do something with, and I always link up Mr. Daly still. Yeah. So yeah, SMA was a good experience, I must say.
So after SMA, you went to you did C4 or?
Yeah, I got waste 2 years by CDC.
Why waste? What did you do?
Like the opportunities in terms of curricula was just very limited in those days, So like after CXC, I think I didn't do bad in CXC.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had 2 1s and 4 2s, and then a A and a B at GC level. So practically above average in terms of performance, But then I remember during that summer, a lot of hesitation about how the results going to come out, and I ended up going and do the test for the technical section. Not that I really want to do technical section, but something to fall back on.
Back up.
Yeah, and I end up in height of summer, then people call a test and thing. I go up there, a kind of a maths. I checking like, what are I just do maths and get a one. Look, no, I didn't know I get the one yet, but I just do maths. I come in, I watching the maths, and I checking like, boy, what kind of madness is that? At the same time, I just feel like it's vomit and to vomit. I just leave there. I checking, okay, I go to that. Like technical college, not for me. So then results came out, and I eventually did well. So we had to go to the academic section down by technical wing at the back of the old grammar school, right? Carnival City. Oh, you know there? Or little young for there?
Yeah, I know Carnival City, man. Yeah, man.
Okay, Irie. So then I think I ended up doing economics
And
sociology, and the use of English.
But
yeah.
Hold on. At that point, I mean, did you know like what you wanted to do? Like that was random or?
Well, still trying to figure out myself, because at that point I am only 16. I just turned 16 years old. Like I left SMA at, like I remember doing my first CXC exam was on May the 12th, which was my birthday. And I turned 15, I'm 16 on that day, right? So 16, 17, I'm CIFO 16 years and 17 years. So I finished CDCC at 17 years. But at the time, you're down there and like the subjects like economics, microeconomics, like I guess maybe it was the teachers too, like just wasn't exciting. I wouldn't call names now because I don't want to throw no shade on nobody. But that's some boring teachers teaching us, my brother. Like I was thinking, like, what kind of a madness is that about? Yeah, and at that time, I was checking, you know what? Yeah, that's cool thing. I just do going through the ropes. I still end up passing the exams, but I was checking. I wasted 2 years there.
Well, for somebody who was sounding a little bit uninterested, you make it and you did what you have to do and you get there.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, somebody just messaged me and the comment the person made was, this guy was always very good with speaking. That's what somebody told me about you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I've been nurturing that for a long time. You know, I feel I try to be as conversational as possible. A lot of people that maybe not in my circle might just check like, okay, Mr. You see, Mr. Because when I move in tunnel vision, focus on the plan at hand. And sometimes people I know, I end up just passing them straight because they're not in my plan for the day. You understand what I'm saying? But when we get into that social environment with friends and family, and like, I like to engage people and speak to them. And I also like to speak my mind a lot, which gets me in trouble sometimes, I must say. What's not to love about some trouble in your life, man?
Good trouble?
Yeah, man.
So Sheldon, you as you mentioned that you studied economics and sociology. Yeah. And the reason why you are one of our guests on the show is not because of economics and sociology, but because of your success in the filmmaking and videography, photography industry. At what point did that catch your attention, catch your eye?
Okay. Well, again, because of the circle of friends that I had growing up, and also the apparent ease of being very social and interacting with a lot of people, networking with a lot of people, the fact that I lived in many different areas. I lived Newtown, I lived Goodwill, I lived Fokani up in the bush. So every area that I moved, I lived Cadenfield down on the ghetto, on the flat, on West Side. So like all those different areas that I live, always interacting with different people, and again building up the cadre of people and network of people that you know. Now, the decisive point in my life where creative industries, I should say, not just filmmaking but the creative industries I kind of crossed paths with it was when we formed a group called Clockers Crew.
You know what clockers? We know clockers.
Yeah.
Skydimex.
So yeah. So Clockers Crew basically was a group of us that used to just line together first and foremost and find any good party for us to try and mop. If one person get invited, the whole crew.
Everybody going.
We used to call ourselves. We used to call ourselves party animals. And if you go back listening to one of the more notorious members of Clockers Crew, when you hear Clockers Crew, you're thinking of Skinny Banton, right? And when Skinny made his first tracks with WCK, the Ragalip track, he actually began up party animals, like, because at that point in time, it's like all about the parties for us. We used to go to so many parties, try and stow it to go as much jam as possible, not pay $1 because we broke, get till we come out, already. Yeah. Make our stamp ourselves, try and get inside the jam.
What?
Yeah. That's how we roll it. One person pay and the whole crew come inside. Or you know how it is. So that kind of gravitated towards now certain fellas that used to be rolling first now feel like they could maybe do something with their voice in terms of singing, in terms of dubbing. We used to go to a lot of little sessions, like Popcorn. I don't know if all you know Popcorn, but Popcorn is heads that have the what is Head store name again?
Musicland.
Musicland. When Heads at Musicland, his younger brother Popcorn used to always be on the block right by Valentine's with a little box with a cassette tape player and selling cassettes and stuff. So like the music was always around us, and those was more about like dancehall and reggae, So some of the guys, with recognizing that talent and stuff, at that point in time, I remember one day sitting on the porch on Fields Lane by my friend Tony Ogis. He's in New York right now. And Tony got some movies from New York, and one of the movies is Clockers, and that's kind of the genesis of how we end up naming ourselves Clockers. And I agree, well, okay, we're going to start doing things, And in the Clockers framework now, you have obviously the guys that have the talent to sing and do all those things. And then you have the rest of us who have other attributes where maybe we are a little business savvy, we have little connections to make things happen, that kind of thing. So then it had the artists and the executive, So we kind of already establish a organizational structure around the group, And at that point in time, we were still going to other people's parties and stuff like that, Party Mont Daniel, party higher up Kinfield. It's always one of those parties that is kind of the more affluent people in society's daughters that have in the big party, and Clockers Crew representing, And it reached to the point like we figure like, you know what, we have a party to throw. Another great house party I have to talk about that kind of was the catalyst for us to do that was the Dr. Etienne party. And I say in Dr. Etienne, but it's not she that's throwing it. It was her sons, Kimani and Kwame and Ron John and some of the other guys that were they were like maybe a year ahead of me in school and stuff like that, but still friends. They used to throw a real badass party up in Fort May. That was like the party of the youth at the time.
If you're
And
not
then
there,
all
you're
of a
not
sudden, the party started to become a kind of a like people want you to start paying to come to the party, and like people start to figure out, well, this is now morphing from just a party, invite my friends, enjoy themselves, to now we can try and see how we monetize the whole experience,
Charge at the door.
Yeah. And then we still wasn't about that. We was like, you know what? We're going to sit down and plan our party, and our party going to be exclusively invite only. You understand?
Right.
And at the same time now, my friend Buju, I don't know if you must know Buju, original Moonselwe Buju.
Yeah, man.
Buju dad had just renovated the back of All Nations. Everybody know where All Nations is, right? And we had like a little basketball court there where we used to play and free up and thing, And that was like the perfect venue, you understand? And we decided we're going to have a party on Boxing Day. And we start to roll out like maybe all October, and so things for the party get falling in place, who in St. Thomas bringing down Alizé and Hypnotic and Hennessy, or we get in a box with 6 bottles this week or next box, and we're stocking up, coming up to, by the time November hit, that invitation go out, and the hook was, we have a list of about 120, 150 girls, and girls alone are getting invitation. Yeah, them girls alone not getting invitation.
Yes, sir.
So by the time them girls get all them invitations there by mid-November, so the boys starting around now conversations about the party among their circles and stuff. Like, the party is shaping up to be one of the biggest things ever. You understand them ways? And in those days, we didn't have band. I see you have all them speaker Ting and Ting behind you there. We didn't really have band. We was 2 DJs, 4 turntables, and stack of records, and DJ Cut on one side, DJ Alfie on the other side. You understand? The first one was DJ Cut, because Alfie maybe was still in school at the time. So DJ Cut was there, and I remember DJ Cut crate was like it was made out of wood, like his turntables and thing was in a crate out of wood. That is how early the vibes was, And we threw that first party, and that party was talked about till the next party, the next year, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And so it morphed from, now we have a group of fellas that performs, and then we still have the events that we put on to showcase that talent, you understand? And during the course of the year, like, Clockers performing everywhere, every different little activity, and that gives the rise to other little groups coming up and doing their thing also,
Of Clockers that popped up on YouTube and whatnot. That was you?
The video?
Yeah, the videos, like the feels
okay,
like all of that.
So my first experience with the video part of it, we have to fast forward a little bit from the years of the parties to, I started working at Whitchurch in 97, and in 2001, around March or so, in the middle of March 2001, a day I decided I go in work. Like, it was, I'd leave and go to St. Martin on like kind of like a holiday, and then I come back. But when I come back from St. Martin, all my hair was still twisted up, because I go St. Martin and I'm my cousin, and we dot side and dread alone and the dread vibes catch me and I twist up for the weekend and I come back down now to go to work Monday morning and my twist up. And I decided I'm gonna wrap my head like a music soul child and go work. So I go work my tie, music soul child turban, my slacks, rich work. Yeah.
Apple.
Carrier and them checking like, what? No. People start to watch me. Okay, that one going mad. Yeah, anyway, we had a kind of a heated discussion. I just walk out and that was it for me working for Whitchurch. So right at that point, I leave Whitchurch and this is 2001. And in retrospect, a lot of people watching me thinking like, yo, this man is mad because like at that point in time, I had already bought my first vehicle. I was 19 and I had my vehicle already. Cell phone, my little Nokia on my side, pulling up, 235 number.
Everything.
You know, like the flex, the apparent flex was that of a young person being successful, you know, in a job and whatever. But it was very frustrating there because like I was seeing like 3 years, every day I just getting up and doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I was like, that life cannot come. At the same time, after getting fired, we clockers had the opportunity to go to Guadeloupe to shoot a music video. So go on my savings, take whatever little money I had, buy my francs, jump on the boat. They fire me already. I Guada. And I went to Guadeloupe. That was my first time going to Guadeloupe, bro. And I'd already been to New York. And if I had known Guadeloupe was like that, the 5,000 and whatever I'd spent to go to New York, I would have just Guada with that because Guadeloupe have a New York flex, but Caribbean style. You understand what I'm saying? That is the kind of a feelings when I see Guadeloupe. And we went to Guadeloupe and we decided, okay, we had this song called Feels Like Summer. All that time, I am not actively involved in behind the camera. But what I learned more during that time was kind of the skill sets of somebody that have to produce to make sure, okay, fellas, we have to go there, this on time, that on time, let's try and get that done. Okay, we have to be there by that time. Okay, we're gonna need some food. We're gonna, just my organizational skills was coming into play on that particular journey, you know. And we went to Guadeloupe and we shot this music video. And this music video was shot like pretty much guerrilla style, just documenting us having a good time, like as though we was just what we're doing for the day, whatever happens for the day. Like the day we was going up, we meet some guys, the whole boat had bikes on it, and we speak to them and they say, yes, they have this thing coming up on Saturday, and if you guys come, we go to that. That was all the way in Bastille. When we reach to that, we just pull out the cameras, jump on bikes, and we filming. While we're on the bikes, a guy for Corvette come checking like, hey, are you seeing that clip? Sky and camera jump on the Corvette. We get some shots, you know. We go on the beach, couple girls, jet ski, dad have a jet ski company. We jump on the jet ski, get some shots, you know, and it was just like that. Every day, something happening, we get some shots, make sure we shoot couple backbone scenes where the guys performing themselves, and then we just capture the rest of it. And we spent a few weeks in Guadeloupe doing that. And I remember when that video dropped, it dropped the night. The next day, I wake up for us to go in the supermarket to buy like our little eggs and stuff that we're gonna make breakfast with to make for everybody. And we in the supermarket shopping, moving aisle to aisle. And yeah, when you move on that aisle, you're seeing 2 girls watching. Move on that aisle, 4 girls. Move on the next aisle, around 8 of them, like, I checking with aisle. Us them girls are following there, man.
They see the video.
Yeah, they see the video and they check in like the idea of celebrity, that's the first time I actually ever like in Dominica, everybody know you, everybody just know everybody.
Right.
But up there, that experience kind of gave me the first glimpse of celebrity, and a couple of the guys like Sky and Skinny and them was going to Guadeloupe before, but because I was always working, I never really had the opportunity to really experience that. And I remember Sky telling me, Gotti, you see, what are you talking about? Everybody called me Gotti at that time, you understand? Yeah. And it was amazing. So that was kind of like the first experience with the music video. Then we came back to Dominica with all our high spirits trying to get that music video on Mapping TV. Yeah, and Mapping TV charged me $200 to play the music video 4 times.
Some money back then, eh?
Yeah, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, like $200 to play a music video. Like, this is content. This is 2001, and this is content that we actually giving them. And you know how content works, right?
Right.
But then the content provider at the time was squeezing us and charging us. And we dropped the video, and in the video had a one girl with a little G-string. Boy next day, talking points. Them fellas and this and that, and yeah. But at the end of the day, that never really phased us. So we just move on and continue doing what we did.
All right.
Yeah.
So Sheldon, based on what you're telling us, there is like your involvement in the entertainment and music industry and film basically happened somewhat by default. You were in a group of friends and y'all basically embarked into join the music industry and entertainment industry, and I guess you had to find your place.
Yeah,
and so,
definitely.
And so because of that, you eventually decided, hey, this is fun, but this could also be a career. You lost your job because of it, and you were like, whatever, this is what I'm doing this. Did you obtain did you obtain any sort of formal training eventually, or was it a case where, like how people do right now, we want to learn to use a software or a product and we just YouTube that? Was there any sort of, when you decided to do that, was there any sort of formal training that you took?
Well, not really. Like my first real passion in this creative arts world was photography.
Okay.
And I always remember in all the years of us liming and partying and going out and having a good time, I always have a camera with me taking pictures. So I have actual photographs that document that journey. Always was interested in photography, but then at the time it was SLR cameras on film. So if you wanted to move from like the little point and shoot 35 millimeters to a professional camera, you had to buy actual film camera, and those were like very expensive and out of our leagues, in terms of the kind of money that we had disposable. But I always loved photography, right? And we moved like in the essence of doing the events and stuff. Like I started gravitating towards putting on events myself as an event planner. Like I was like a promoter at that point in time. Like all the different clubs that existed during, let's say 97 to like 2003, 2004 in Dominica, like the main ones, like the Q clubs and the Magic and all of them, like the one up in Mont Daniel, like we put events on at those places, and I had the opportunity to, lean on sponsorship and all those things. So like I learned the art of event management and planning very early, and it reached to the point where I realized that the financial reward of being a promoter in Dominica at the time was not that great. especially if you want to be a promoter that that have a good reputation in terms of always paying the people that you hire.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure, even do good, it do good, but you make sure that you square off everybody. And to this day, like guys always tell me about why you don't come back and try and do something, because like they know for sure, like if I decide to delve in that realm again, like we straight, you know, I kind of left it with a good reputation.
But with
Now
that,
leaving it, hold on, let me give you the breakdown, the transition from event management to know what he asked me. So like we know during the years of doing those things, like there was this white man that used to film and do things, a white man called Rick. Everybody believed like maybe Mr. was a CIA because Mr. just up here in Dominica and decided to have a film company and he filming. So we had one of those big parties and we had Kindreds and Clockers and how much different performers, and we actually brought him in to film the event. And that was the point where I say, you know what? I feel I can start doing that stuff. Yeah. And we're approaching 2005, 2006, right? And at that point in time, I had the opportunity to work with my friend Joanza, who at the time had this company called D Zone Limited, doing what I do now, and had the opportunity to work with him. And a lot of the skill sets was kind of like, Joanza is one of those, you know, like when you small it out, somebody will just throw you in the deep and tell you swim, boy. Yeah, so Joanza was one like that. So Joanza just figured, okay, we had equipment there. My brother, look a camera, go on the stage, make it happen. And I remember one of my very first gigs was like shooting Sizzler on World Creole Music Festival stage. And I take pictures upon pictures upon pictures. I was like, I just started to feel like I was like really enjoying this thing, you know?
That was Pottersville.
Yeah, it was in Pottersville. Yeah. And the great thing about that arrangement, like Joanza wanted me to sell advertising spots for the screens. He had those big screens up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that is very strong. You see selling, I can sell. I'm a hustler. So I went again, having come from the corporate Whitchurch community. A lot of the networking that I did while I was there, I never regret that job. You understand? I don't regret getting fired, and I don't regret having the job. The job was a blessing in terms of meeting and networking with people. You understand? Even a day like today, like Whitchurch is one of my clients, you know. So I don't regret it at all. But yeah, so we end up selling ads, the performance. I took pictures there. And then soon after that, there was this opportunity for people involved in film. And there was this show called Pirate Master being done in Dominica. And Pirate Master was Mark Burnett Productions. They had like a big ship. I don't remember if all you remember that. It had like a big pirate ship and was docked outside of Meru. It was docked outside of Portsmouth, and we were actually filming on that. So what they did, Anita Bully was the film commissioner at the time, and she negotiated for the crew to come down with the crew to work with local assistant cameramen in efforts to build capacity here. And about 19 of us got jobs as assistant cameramen. And that is what kind of catapulted and the career path in terms of, okay, this is really what I'm going to do. And we worked on that show, and the international camera guys was like so impressed with the fact that we were hardcore ACs, even though we were greenbacks in terms like they were just thrown into the deep, learn how to do this and make it happen. And a handful of us, literally a handful of us, had the opportunity after the show had gone on, because they were the same people a lot of the members of the crew and the production company were the same people handling Survivor. And I remember having conversations with my camera guy and talking about they do Survivor and this, and they go all over the world, and I was like, yo, this is a dream come true. And one of my friends, Nixon, I don't know if you all know Nixon George. Nixon also has his company called QuickLink. Big up QuickLink one time. Nixon was the very first one who got the opportunity right after Pirate Master to go with his camera guy to China. So about 3 or 4 months after we do that, Nixon is in China. And then the next season, another one of my friends, Kurt Roll. Kurt also got the opportunity to go to Palau. So like, Rasta in the wings checking like something have to happen for him because Wagwan. And the next season, the third season after that, my camera guy that I worked with on Pirate Master, he calls me up and he's like, hey, Rasta, they was calling me Rasta at the time. Rasta, do you want to come to the motherland with me? I was like, joke you me, checking like, yeah, man, one time. Yeah. They sent, and we got a whole long list of stuff that we had to do. I had to take how much vaccine. Yeah, your boy take his vaccines and them and organize how to, I was trying, and then we went to Gabon. So all of us, myself, Kurt, Nixon, and then there were 2 other Dominicans, but working in different departments. One girl from Salisbury, and Alton passed away. Alton was from Louvier. 5 of us from Dominica is now part of the crew of Survivor, and I did a couple seasons with them, and it was kind of one of the best experiences of my life because what it did, it afforded me to make what is considered the international rates for a short stint of time and come back to Dominica and use that capital that I worked for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks on and start buying my little gear so that I could start off Unite properly here in Dominica.
But
So,
given that experience though, didn't you feel like some kind of pressure to be like, well, it's greener outside there. Like, why am I going back to Dominica? What for? Like all of the opportunity, all of the potential is out there. Why go back home and basically try to work the wheel when the wheel already working out there?
Okay, so 2006, I was blessed to have had my son, Sky, was born in 2006. And Survivor was 2008. So I have a 2-year-old and a woman that I love very much back home. Family, like Dominica, like the opportunity to leave Dominica was there long before Survivor. Like, I am one of those that I'm not really going anywhere, trust me. You understand? Yeah. Once the paper writes, even if the paper don't write, I can stay and climb couple mango tree and thing and agree with this guy. You understand? Like I not downplaying those that take the opportunity to go out there and try and find something better for themselves, because let's face it, ain't much opportunities here for those that really want to grow and experience what this world has to offer.
Especially in that industry, right?
Yeah, especially in that industry. But at the same time, being an entrepreneur at the time, I realized that although there was a couple of other players in the market, Jawanza was one of them, and LJ Productions was one of them, pretty much. That was the 2 players. And at the time, those guys was doing a lot of Creole festivals and big, like they were getting those big jobs. And something told me like there was like a opportunity to tap into that same market. So I reached out and I decided I'm going to try and set up my company here and do it. And I remember my very first gig after I buy my cameras and everything. My 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 cousin Philip Allen was working at Cable and Wireless at the time, and he told me that Alex Stevenson wanted somebody to do something for him. Alex Stevenson was in charge of the outside distribution, the lines, and all those kind of things. And he wanted to try and prepare this little informational package so that he could present to his bosses in Roseau, but he didn't want to go through them for them to, because he wanted to bypass the whole marketing department. He didn't want them to know that he was doing it. He wanted to do it and show them, well, this is what we did. Right. And he reached out to me and we worked out a deal. I get paid handsomely for that. I feel like I get paid like how I would have gotten paid on Survivor. Like that was the kind of rates I was accustomed to already. So that's the kind of rates I quoted, and he didn't have a problem with it. And at that point, I reckon like if my first job can be on that level, I'm not turning back. You understand?
Okay.
So you know your worth and you press on.
Yeah, I kind of use that as the catapult to try and move forward, and always trying to do better with the next job. Always trying to increase the production value better. So like when they see that first thing, yes, they're impressed. But if they call me to do something for them, when they see what I do for them, they're even more blown away, you know, that kind of a thing. And that's kind of been my mantra for over the years, you know.
Right. So you did mention your own company, Unite. And we want to touch on that because we here at Talking think that's very impressive. We normally like we don't pay attention to when, you know, men do stuff because we think men are supposed to do those things anyways. And instead of, you know, checking it out and bringing it out and giving it some attention, we just say you're supposed to do it. But you created a company called Unite. And Unite stands for something. It's not just Unite. So can you touch on that for a second?
All right. So yeah, that one come from a lot of meditation, smoking a lot of high grade and trying to figure out like how do I create something that when you hear it, it's going to resonate with you. And when you hear what the acronym is, like the name in itself, Unite, is already sending that message.
Right.
You know, come, let's get together. Let's make this happen. And then when you hear what the acronym stands for, like again, it kind of barreled off of an event that I was trying to put together, right? And the event, we call the event Unite, and the acronym stood for You Never Imagined This Entertainment. Again, stressing on the fact that I came from that event management, promotions, putting on events type of background. So that's where it came from. And after we did the event was a huge success again at All Nations. And I didn't want to just discard the concept of that name. So I went in and I registered it as a business name and put down all the things that I love or the things that I would like to do as stuff that the business or particulars of the business or what the business can do.
So what are some of these services that this business, this company Unite provides to the public or private clients? What are some of the services that you provide?
So primarily right now I am focused on audiovisual, right? Anything audiovisual in the realms of film, video, photography, aerial photography, and even on the production end of it, like consultation, script development, like like you want to create something audiovisual, then we can sit down and we can dream up that package for you. Some of the other areas that I want to delve in, but again, is the vision is like long term. Like we had Unite down as model agency, artist management, events management, music label, sports agency. So all the different areas that I kind of had a certain amount of affinity to, I kind of bring them, because I feel like doing business, you have to try and first find out what are the things that you love doing. And if you can monetize that, then you're in a good space. Yeah, you don't need to make millions, but you can pay the bills and live comfortably. Then
I've seen you collaborate with other Dominicans in the field, like Naja Thomas, Norris Faswa, and one of the more popular projects that you've been a part of, the Uncivilized film.
mm-hmm.
Take us through that. Like how has it been like working with, I mean, it's a small pool of you guys in Dominica. How has that been, you know, the challenges doing those kinds of things in Dominica? I think the chocolate thing, you were part of that too, the chocolate documentary.
That's our
like,
production.
right.
Yeah.
How are they a part of the team first? Or?
Yeah, basically, yeah, the team is pretty much all those people that you call here. I mean, everybody. So myself, Nixon, and Kurt was kind of like the three amigos at the beginning, right? Because we kind of were like the only ones who end up going on the survivor move and started buying the equipment and doing that kind of stuff. Both myself and Nixon set up our own companies. And we used to work it always that although we competed in the same space, but we collaborate on everything we do. So if he gets a job, I go and work for him. If I get the job, he come and work for me. If we have to buy a piece of equipment, we figure out between ourselves, okay, he go and buy that, I'll buy that. So like when they ask for those, we have these. You understand what I'm saying? So that was the initial few years, and during one of the years we end up doing a show called Nature Island Challenge, and that was the first time I met Norris. And Norris' mom was working on the trail, was managing the trail at the time, and he ended up being at the trail office while I was doing one of the races. And you know, he came up and was like kind of interested. His mom introduced me, and he checking, okay, he can go and set up a couple of GoPros for us, and while the actual race was going on. And that was my first interaction with him. And then we kind of kept in touch, had an opportunity for him to work on it with us, maybe a year or two after the Nature Island Challenge, the same one. He was actually part of the crew. And he came one time and he told me, like, he's a teacher at Orion, because this guy is another very smart dude, you know? And then he moved on and started working with 365. And at one point in time, I met him and he's like, yeah, you ready to make the move, you know? And I was like, okay. And he had the opportunity at the time. I told him, well, okay, yeah, you can come and work with me now. Let's see how we make it happen. And that was one of the best business decisions that I have made, was to bring on Norris. Norris, like a sponge when it comes to the world of video, and I just like, he's just a whiz on the, like, editing is his thing. Like, he has that down pat. So again, building capacity and skill sets, the equipment and everything. We always try to stay on the cutting edge of what is out there and what we can afford, so that we can deliver the best product possible. And yeah, so adding Norris to the team was a no-brainer. And then we fast forward to a couple years ago, right after Maria, I met Naja. Naja came down, and I decided after doing a stint in the States in the same field, working on a lot of the different big projects, working with BBC and Vice and all those, type of shows. She wanted to come back home, and so we had the opportunity at that point when I met her. Like, we just kind of clicked, and she's from Marigot, Norris from Marigot, so like they clicked even more. So like everybody just and again, she's doing her own thing too, has her own company, and but still we collaborate because we realize the space that we're working in, you understand? And when the forces combine, then we make good things happen. And since then, we had the opportunity to work on a few projects here, and definitely seeing the increase in production value, like the Coco thing you talked about, like it was.
That was A plus. That was a amazing production.
When people look at that, people don't even know if it was like you don't think Dominica, like in your normal mindset, like no Dominicans that make that, but every last thing from the script development down to the last piece of lighting and everything you see on that was all us, So So those types of collaboration, I definitely think it. Another person I have to make mention as you talk about Uncivilized is Michael Lees. Again, Michael made the move back to Dominica. He and Norris was friends, and I met him through Norris. And again, we clicked because a lot of people in the industry, like, once you're a shooter, like, unless if you you're just a real asshole or you just have a whole attitude, like, mostly we're going to interact. You can be the competition that I bid in against every day, whatever. But once we get in that space of interacting with each other and you cool, I cool, there's going to be opportunity for synergies. There's going to be an opportunity for collaboration. There's going to be the opportunity where you're going to have so much work that you cannot do something for your client, and you're going to want to recommend them. But who do you recommend them to? You understand? So you want to make sure that the skill sets of everybody, like iron sharpen iron, everybody around in the industry is actually developing their skill sets to the point where if something big happens, then we can take advantage of it collectively together. So that was kind of where the collaborations, like with Michael and Uncivilized, like we kind of edited the film, and I also played the role of executive producer. And that was one of the coolest experiences of just having to take something from Wicker Shots and then go to Trinidad and see it premiere at a film festival and get standing ovation, people, and then bring it back to Dominica on the anniversary of Maria, and the cinema is packed for days. And we're talking about Uncivilized, So that kind of a reward is most gratifying, and it's as a result of collaborating. Like, you can't do those things on your own. Like,
so what would you say is the state of the industry currently, and what does the future look like? What are you looking to see more of?
Yeah. Well, basically, I feel the industry is still embryonic, right?
Can you elaborate on that?
The embryo,
No. I know what it means, but I just want you to take us into like what aspect.
Embryonic means like it's still in its formative stages. Like, I still feel we're still on the cusp of trying to figure out what is it that we have in terms of an industry, right? We have a few players, but we don't have an industry formalized yet, right? I feel for the industry to take hold, a
Mhm.
few structural things have to be set in place, right? One, there's two ways we can take it. We want to develop the industry by bringing in or having Dominica as a location for film and video productions to happen, right? Be it a feature-length film or a reality TV show or travel series or whatever the case may be, attracting international crews to Dominica to film here will help, as it helped me in the early days, will help develop the skill sets if we negotiate it properly of locals here. So the more productions that we can get to come in here and use Dominica and then train some of our people in the different roles is how we're going to start developing the skill sets all across the board. Because when you watch a film, at the end of it, you see how long it takes for the credits to go up. So it have many different areas that people can choose paths to go down. So that is one thing. For us to do that, there must be some very focused policies set in place by our policymakers in terms of creating that space that's going to attract foreign productions to come to the island. Right? That is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is after having developed those skill sets and developed all the different talents in different areas, we want our people now to start telling their own stories. And for you to tell your own stories, no, you have to try and figure out how we're going to package and make our short films, or we're going to package and make our movie, or we're going to package and make our documentary to tell that we want to tell and get out there into the world. Because for too long, we've just been a consumer culture, so we just consume a lot of content where audio visual is concerned. But when we produce, no matter how no matter how bad the quality, bad the acting, like anything that come out of Dominica in video, some people will watch it. People in the diaspora want to see it. Like I remember some years ago, a couple little youth man had this thing called DA Most Wanted. I remember DA Most Wanted.
Yes, with
Cooks
and
yeah, with Fidel and Dwight and them, my brother.
And them, yes.
Yeah, like
fun.
That
little YouTube series there. Like I remember sitting down at home and just like
that was fun.
And it's like those kind of it's like where I want to see it is like the same kind of energy, but with the skill set that we have learned to try and make the story more cinematic, more engaging, and to at least be on the standard of what is being done by our counterparts in the region, you know?
Well,
we see movies coming out of Jamaica, we see movies coming out of Trinidad, Guadeloupe have films coming out, you know, so my most recent initiative is something called the Unite Film Collective, right? And all this is in efforts to work on that other side of the coin that I'm telling you about. So what we did is kind of again put the call out there to everybody that's interested in any facet of filmmaking. And we had a first meeting which was kind of well attended, but right after that was like the whole August COVID lockdown, and it kind of threw us off in terms of the momentum that we wanted to have right after the meeting. But the idea is for us to start coming together collectively and work on first very short films, stuff that we can film over the weekend, and just start to build up the capacity of doing. And in doing, I feel we will have a cadre of work that we can show. And once we can start showing, then we'll get audience to engage in it and that kind of thing. And if if in a year or two we can see the first Dominica Film Festival, whatever shape or form it takes, and we have films from Dominicans made by Dominicans in Dominica and maybe Dominicans abroad in the diaspora, like that would be a good goal. That's a good goal for us to attain in terms of getting the industry started. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. So this is interesting, and in my opinion, I think the direct access to, let's say, social media has it's for me, it's like a blessing and a curse, where back in the day you had to film something proper, edit to the best of your ability to get it to somebody or some entity who would see some worth in your project and film it. Right now, we can just film any little thing, stitch that on our phone, and put that on TikTok or put that on YouTube. And I think for us at least, it's a blessing that we are able to get our talents seen out there, but also it us having the direct access to that medium, it allows us to just say, well, as people like the last thing I do last time, so I can do it like that again. And it would be very great that people would join that initiative that you recently started. And so before it's after 9, and we normally do this for 1 hour. So before we leave, for these people who are viewing, who might be interested in being part of your Unite Collective project, how can they reach you? An email, a phone number, or anything, a website? How can they reach you, just in case they want to be part of that project? Because we also want to make sure that whatever it is that you have, that you could put yourself out there. So, Shim, let's plug. Let's go.
Yeah, well, as I say, I'm very open to working and collaborating with anybody. Like in the initial email we sent out, because like the database of people in the industry, we send it out to mostly everybody, but there's always the people that might not be in the circles. And like my Facebook is Sheldon Casimir. My email is unitecaribbean@gmail.com. Again, see where I'm going with it. Unite Caribbean. We don't have an actual website set up. One of the goals, again, to thing, but Facebook, we do have a page, Unite. You Never Imagined This Entertainment. My telephone number is 277-6228. People can reach out to me if they genuinely want to be part of it, or to contribute in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I feel reaching out or getting in touch with me is not the most difficult part. You just have to decide that this is something that you want to do, and you ask 2 people a question. If you don't know my number, you must get like I not hard to find. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Idea, and I'm open to especially younger people that maybe have not had no exposure into this, but they feel like they want to try and do one of those things. Yeah, because I feel like if we don't build the human resource capacity, then there's no way we can get this industry going, because there's so much human resource that needs to come together to make a bona fide film, And there's a lot of different departments, a lot of different skill sets, And yeah, I mean, we can always do a bare bones thing and 3-4 of us try and make something, but then when you're looking for industry and growth, you have to start, falling in line with what the industry standards are outside of there,
Yep. All right. Yeah. So here you have it, guys. Mr. Sheldon Casimir, one of our leaders in the film, audiovisual industry in Dominica. And Sheldon, we would like to thank you for taking time off to be a part of Talk the Ting. From our producers in the background, they say a big thank you for coming on, and we will share the link of your Facebook page and your email address on our social media platforms so people could get in contact with you there as well. To the viewers who are viewing both on YouTube and Facebook, we want to thank you for coming on and showing your support to Talk the Ting. We appreciate it. Also, while you're there, check out the merch store. The link is in the chat and also on the our Facebook page. And support this, because this in turn costs some sort of monies to, you know, be able to have all the softwares necessary to run this and bring this informative sessions of our great Dominicans to you. And again, thank you very much, and see you most likely this weekend with Talk the Ting, our sports version of Talk the Ting on Sundays with Dwayne, Brad, and Carol. These guys are normally responsible for that session.
Oh, they have to bring it back for a sports version,
and that's something that we are actually that's something that we're looking on, but we are looking to
to burn some fire, we.
All right.
This sport sad we.
Okay, yeah. So
but anyway, that's for another day. We'll talk that thing another time.
So yeah, so check us out, support the merch, and we will be back later on this week with Talk the Ting Sports, and we will keep you guys posted on our next guest for the following show, which is not next Wednesday but the Wednesday after that. And as for now, we're gone. Thank you. 767